It is a wonderfulness, a joy to welcome my fiscal and my economic guru. I hope he doesn't mind me calling him that. Feargal McCormack. How are you, sir?
Nice to see you, Rowan. How are you?
It's always good to see you on the Tuesday. You know, when it's Tuesday, just as surely as the sun doth rise, you know, it's comes as no surprise. Mr. McCormack is in Studio One.
Well, it's my pleasure to be in Studio One.
It's great to have you. I really enjoy talking to you. I've learned so much from you because you simplify things. You bring it down to my level of fiscal dyslexic incompetence. A lifetime of fiscal dyslexia. It's a miracle that I've survived at all. It's just unbelievable.
Oh, you'll survive. And I see the debate in the South has started again about the upcoming budget. The whole area of, you may have heard Minister Harris yesterday, the junior finance minister,
yes,
saying that they expect the exchequer returns at the end of August in the South.
Will it be up or down?
To show up, to do increase.
They're going to be up.
And therefore, they're now playing about, I think they may have 500 million to play around with, and they may be, I suspect they'll do one or two things. I think they may reduce the level of which people start paying a higher rate of income tax, or they may even address the universal charge. They may reduce it a little. Why,
you know, we have talked about the need to be wise and to be frugal and to save and to be careful. Why are they starting to give away when they're no sooner out of the difficulties? Would they not be better off holding on to that money and using it for the homeless or using it for the hospitals or whatever?
Yeah, they may be. The reality is that you're probably 18 months away from an election. And maybe 2 years, and they're thinking they have 2 budgets to go, and I think they'd like to say this is the start of what might happen after we get re-elected if you re-elect us. I think being realistic, we also have to acknowledge that the middle families, which ultimately quite often are the wealth creators in the economy, the working families are finding it very difficult. And it's back to, there's no easy solution to this. You see it in the entire Western world. It's how you balance social welfare with encouraging people to work. And I don't think there is an easy solution, but somewhere in there, there is a challenge for us all, because I think all of us who have a heart realise we have to ensure our fellow citizens are able to live.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But secondly, we have to equally encourage people who do live to ensure they're rewarded for their work.
I love that phrase you used there, wealth creators, because that's not about amassing personal wealth. It's about a genre of people who have the skill, the education, the knowledge to create profitability. Profitability in the economy means money to do important things, and we grow.
Well, I mean, if you have a fully communist state, or the facts are very simple. You don't have the same quality of life, ultimately, particularly standard of life, as you have perhaps in a mixture of capital and socialism. And if you take Northern Ireland, for example, we know, for whatever reason, there's pretty good reasons, they were over-dependent on the public sector. And the only way we can make a significant impact on our infrastructure, ultimately, is by slightly changing our dependence on the public sector so that the private sector creates wealth, because that wealth is far more dynamic than wealth created from within the public sector. And that's worldwide, that's acknowledged by economists worldwide.
Where we've just had the exam results and people are being advised what to do and all the rest of it, in going forward, we must go forward on a solid and sound educational base, and the young people who are succeeding must be choosing those areas of discipline and study that are conducive to the new economy, whether it be IT or whether it be
well, I think
number
one, we have to get balance, and education is important, but it's not the only thing. And savvy, as I've said to you before, is far more important. You need the two together. And if you focus exclusively on education, or indeed on not doing education, it's not right. you need to have a balance. Now, having said that, I've always held the view that it's important, whatever you choose in life, you enjoy it. And you shouldn't do it because your mommy tells you to do it.
No, indeed.
Or because somebody in the street, or because your daddy did it before you.
No.
So I think that the most important thing in life is to choose a pathway or a journey on your career that you will enjoy. There is nothing to prevent anyone changing. We can all change every day of the week we wish. But at the moment you make a choice, you should feel comfortable in yourself that you will enjoy that.
It's a lovely thought that we can all change when we want to change. But the reality, I suppose, is that can happen. But for a man with 4 children and he's stuck in a mundane job, he's kind of chained to the wheel that turns, you know.
I fundamentally disagree with you here, Rowan.
Really? Tell me about this.
Because I believe that our current circumstances do not determine where we can go. They only determine where we start. If you have the passion and the determination, and you see it all the time, go and look at people who have got to the top and go back on their career path. A lot of them didn't go the normal route.
Oh, yes, of course. Yeah, I understand this.
I have an old boss, he's still living actually, my first workplace boss, and he had a saying that was, young man, in life, you'll probably get 3 to 4 opportunities in life.
In the whole of life.
In the whole of life. And he said, unfortunately, he said, you'll probably know 5 minutes or 2 days after you've missed it.
My goodness.
But remember, 3 or 4 opportunities will come your path in life.
That's a hugely encouraging thing. What you're saying here this morning, you know, I maybe in the old school where you get a job in the civil service because your mummy and daddy push you in that way. Oh, he's in the civil service, he's in the post office, he's great, he's okay for life. And I would have thought, once you're there, you're shackled to it, you can't get away. But you breathe fresh air across the thing, Feargal, in saying, young man, get up, or young woman, get up, follow your heart's desire.
Well, what I'm trying to say is that I believe the most important thing in anyone's life and career is their attitude, their DNA. And if you have the right attitude, you can be trained with skills. And it's your attitude, in my opinion, that determines your altitude.
Yeah.
And not
attitude determines altitude.
Hey,
I love it.
And not necessarily your expertise at a point in time. Yes, expertise ultimately determines it, but how you get there is fundamental. And I just feel that you know, at times, now, I'm not for one moment suggesting it's easy.
No, it's not.
I'm not for one moment suggesting that we haven't all had those difficult days and there'll no doubt come again in the future. You know, all I'm simply saying is that if I look around me at people I consider to have been successful, not necessarily just in business, but in life, they've had determination. They've had, you know, there's an old saying, persistence beats resistance.
Oh, yes.
And you see it all the time. You know, you can go into any meeting and you say, the yapper.
Yeah,
or you have the other person who says, you know, we are where we are.
Let's
now
go.
what can we do?
Wow.
What can we do?
When are you starting motivational speaking?
I wouldn't know how to start it.
You would know. You've started it. That man over there on the desk is smiling ear to ear, taking in the things you're saying.
This is only common. This is only common sense.
Yeah, but I mean, come on. It's not. The sense isn't so common. It's not. It's quite unique to be spelling it out in this way.
But you know, it is common sense. I mean, you know, I'm involved in a number of organisations, as you know, and you know, if you went into a room and had a meeting, you'd be amazed if you sat back and heard all the negativity at times, and you realise that these people quite often are where they are in life because they're negative all the time.
Yeah.
The glass is half full, rather, you know,
half empty.
Half full.
Yeah.
You know,
I know what you're saying.
There's no easy way here.
It's funny you remember your first employer giving you the advice. I remember a man. He's now dead and gone, I'm sure. He was in the. He was an insurance executive in Belfast when I was in RTE in my early days in Belfast. And I had lunch with him one day, and we were shooting the breeze, talking the way we're talking now. And he looked at me and he said, young man, in all that you're going to do, keep the airwaves productive. Keep them productive. And that stuck with me. I've always sought to do that, because if you're in the community, working in the community as a journalist, as a chronicler of events, you have a responsibility to make people look up rather than look down.
Yeah, and you have a responsibility, obviously, to report the facts as they happen. But within that context, you can then interpret them going forward. That there has to always be a way forward. It can't be back.
Absolutely. Are you thrilled? The Titanic Centre in Belfast, hugely successful. Figures out today show that 70% of the tourists who come here will go to the Titanic Centre. How can we sort of attract some of that magic, some of that So what magnetism have we got to get them to go to the Ring of Gullion, for example, which is geologically much more interesting than the archaeology of industry that is the Titanic?
Well, I think if we get back to positive thinking, it's encouraging the Titanic is attracting such large numbers. And if those large numbers are coming this way, we've then got to see, can we get a very small percentage of them to diversify into our product or our mix? And I think there is good work going on actually locally to enhance the tourism product and to encourage it. I think it may well be activity tourism is the way for us initially. I do think that we're seeing more tourists in the area, and then each and every one of us has a major role to make people welcome when they come. That warmth of welcome, you know, it's the word of mouth. We're not
so
going.
good.
We've got to be realistic. We're not going to have a Titanic Centre.
No.
The Titanic Centre is a tremendous infrastructure asset for the entire island, actually. But like the Guinness Brewery in Dublin, you know,
Yes,
these are
of
things that
course.
will attract people. I have to say, I was at Crumlin Road Jail last week.
Was that all right? Well, what sort of experience was
I
that?
thought it was very good.
It's not creepy.
No, I thought it was very good. The only thing I'd say is that perhaps because of political sensitivities, they're very correct and they don't tell you who was in this cell or that cell.
But you stood in the condemned cell.
Yes, and obviously the last person to be hung was from this
town.
Mr. McGladrey was from this area. And the noose hangs there, and
my God,
you're showing all that, and you know, maybe these experiences are necessary for all of us to appreciate the horror of violence.
How right you are, and God help us. You know, we at the moment, and I think you will thrill to this, hanging in the Dominican in Our Lady's altar, you have the linen memorial of Licia Troughton from Canada. She's come from Canada to be with us, to show this memorial. It's
Wednesday night, isn't it?
Wednesday night, 8 o'clock in the Dominican for the Tese gathering around the memorial. But it's now, since it's come, now young Edward Mackenzie, the Reverend Edward Mackenzie in Warren Point Presbyterian, the new man, he's 3 months in, young man, he's taking it to Warren Point Presbyterian Church, and Kingsley's taking it to St. Mary. So it's come here for one visit, and now it's 3. People are coming over there, and they're looking at the names and going through the names, talking about, where is this one, where is that one, where's the other one? Woman comes, can we take it to Meath? People want it. It's amazing the effect it's having on people, you know. It really is good. So, where do we leave it? Are we there?
Well, I don't know whether we're there or not. We're above ground, and I suppose hopefully we can all make a difference today.
Let's do that. God bless you.
Thank you very much.
Go well. Take care.